Hello everyone, hope you all had a great Monday. I'm going to be going over our assigned practice for 1.3. Our first problem tells us that we have some collinear points, A, K, O, and Y. K is between O and A. So I'm going to start off here. I have my line segment. The length of AO added to AY is equal to the length of OY. And they give me some helpful information here that OA plus AY equals OY. So I know I have this segment OA. I'm just gonna guess, I might have to adjust this. K is between. We know that betweenness can only occur when we are collinear. So I'm gonna add my point K in here. And all I'm missing is this point Y. And I'm told that the length of OA, or AO, and the length of AY, so there's something else here, is equivalent to the whole segment OY. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in here my Y, and I've got my between point, and I have all of the points, and my equation is correct. Next, draw a diagram in which F is between A and E. All right. We know that definition of betweenness must be collinear. So I have A and E, and I have a between point of F. And then I have R and S. F is also between R and S, but here's the key information. A, E, R, and S are non-collinear. So I'm going to have to draw a different line segment. I'm going to call this R and call this S. 12. If AB equals 16 and BC equals 8 and AC is 24, what's between all these points? So I'm going to start here with AB. I'm going to call this 18. I know the whole thing is 24. So that means that BC, in order to make 24, must be 8. So the order, which point is between the other two? B is between the other two. I'm going to shrink this real quick. Actually, I'm just going to move this up. (14) Q is between P and R on a number line. So here's my number line. And I have -8, which is P, and R, which is 4. So the distance between these points is 12. 0 would be not in the middle in this case, but on a number line, if I counted -7, -6, -5, -4, -3, -2, all the way to 4, I would have 12 total points there. What do we know about the coordinate of Q? Well, what I know about the coordinate of Q is I could put Q anywhere, all these black dots. I can put Q anywhere on this number line as long as Q is between -8 and 4. Notice that I can't do equal to because it can't be on -8 or 4. But anywhere between -8 and 4, we would consider this betweenness because this is a line segment. Part B, what do we know about the length of PQ and QR? So let's actually put Q on this number line. I will put it close to the middle. I'll call that Q. Well, what we know is that PQ plus QR must equal the entire segment PR. That is what we know. So I'm going to go to 15 now. I got to take a quick picture here because I forgot to put that one on here. I love 15. Let me size this up real quick. I apologize for doing this on the video. Totally forgot to bring it in. I'll bring that down here. I'm going to move some stuff up so I have a bunch of room for this guy. All right. Here we go. So I know angle 1 is 2x plus 40. I know angle 2 is 2y plus 40. I know angle 3 is x plus 2y. Now I have two variables, and what we have learned through our Algebra 1 review is that when I am solving for two variables, the method of choice is typically graphing to find where the intersection occurs, substitution method, or the elimination method. And so I've got to create two equations here. One is really glaring to me. I know that angle 1 and angle 3 are congruent. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 3, measure of angle 3, because they are vertical angles. And so that's really helpful to me. So that's my first one, 2x plus 40 equals x plus 2y, subtract x, x plus 40 equals 2y, and divide by 2. So I get y equals 1/2 x plus 20. So I got an equation here, and I use vertical angles to prove it. Now I'm going to switch over and try to figure out my other equation. And I have two options here. What's lovely is that 1 and 2 create a 180-degree straight angle. What's also lovely is that 2 and 3 create a straight angle. So I'm going to try to pick what I think is the simpler solving strategy. And I'm thinking that this linear pair is probably the most simple because x plus 2y is smaller than 2x plus 40 is my only rationale. So 2y plus 40 plus x plus 2y create a linear pair 180 degrees. I have some like terms. 4y plus 40 plus x equals 180. I'm going to solve for y. I'm going to start by subtracting 40. Then I'm going to subtract x. I have no x to combine that with. I get negative x plus 140. Divide by 4. I get y equals negative 1/4 x. 140 divided by 4 is going to give me, if I think of 140 mentally, what I'm thinking of is, I'm going to do this in blue, this is my brain. I'm going to do 120 divided by 4, and then 20 divided by 4. And 120 divided by 4 is 30. 20 divided by 4 is 5, so that gives me 35. All right, so I did all this work so that I have two equations that I can either substitute or eliminate. Now I set them both equal to y, so I'm going to obviously choose substitution here. I'm going to bump this up a little bit so I can just isolate these two equations. So I'm going to take 1/2 x plus 20, substitute it in the other equation for y. 1/2 x plus 20 equals negative 1/4 x plus 35. I'm going to add my 1/4 x. I think of this as 2/4. 3/4 x, subtract my 20, equals 15. The reciprocal of 3/4 is 4/3. So x equals 15 times 4 is 60. 60 divided by 3 is 20. I love it. So I've got my x, I've got my 20. I'm going to substitute into either equation. I'll put it right there since that's a denominator of 2 and it's positive. So y equals 1/2 times 20 plus 20, and 1/2 of 20 is 10, and I get 30. Now, I found x and y. If I read the problem wants me to find the measure of angle 1, 2, and 3. So x is 20, y is 30. I'm going to bring this back. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to circle it in black. Angle 1, x is 20, so 2 times 20 plus 40 is 80. Then I need y, which is 30. 2 times 30 plus 40. 2 times 30 is 60, plus 40 is 100. That makes sense. This is a linear pair, so it should add to 180. Next one, I need x and y, so I need the 20 for x plus the 30 for y, and I get 60 plus 20, which is 80, which this should be the case because this is a linear pair. 100 plus 80 is 180. I hope you have a great evening. Please come in before or after school if you need extra help. We're always available.